and welcome to the Written Word Calligraphy channel. I'm super duper excited because today I get to talk all about the beautiful products in our shop, and that way you guys can take a closer look at what's now available in our store. You know, Written Word Calligraphy is a modern calligraphy studio. For the longest time, we were focused primarily on creating modern calligraphy wedding invitations, and over time we started to add things to the shop, especially as we moved towards creating online courses for our students. And so now we've created quite a big suite of different products that I hope you guys are going to love. So let's take a closer look. So I do like to categorize my supplies in the shop in terms of like level of difficulty or like interest at least. So for beginners, absolute beginners, we definitely highly recommend our starter kit. This is our current starter kit. It is changing in the next few months because we are coming up with a bigger box with different things in it. But this is what we would normally recommend, especially if you want to partner it with our online course, Creative Calligraphy. And of course, if you'd like to kind of practice with the course itself or afterwards, you can also get the practice pads. So I created these practice pads long ago when I still had a lot of in-person workshops, and a lot of my students after the workshop decided to, wanted to practice some more and just didn't have the papers for it or like the tracing sheets for it. So this one is that piece that I created specifically for their needs. So this one is all lowercase letters. It has instructions on the top that talk all about the kind of how to write this letter and things like that. And there's also an uppercase version of it here. So this one, because in my in-person workshops, I don't talk about the uppercase letters. So a lot of them really like the uppercase book so that they could learn it by themselves and trace over it and kind of get the muscle memory for that. But definitely it's, these two pieces are best sellers in the shop, especially for our students who are looking to practice some more after learning more about calligraphy. So the starter kit, definitely great for beginners. Awesome to partner with these two pads. The kit on it by itself also includes the supplies. So it has, the basic things that you need in order to start calligraphy. So you have the dual purpose pen. There's a dinky dip. So this one helps hold the ink. It normally comes in empty. I filled this one up. You can get that ink from this 2-ounce bottle that it comes with, and the nibs, there's 2 in here, the Brow Steno and the Nico G. There's also decals as well as worksheets. So as I mentioned, this kit's gonna change up soon, but if you're still interested, we still have a limited amount of stock in our shop. And so aside from this particular starter kit, we've got the dual purpose calligraphy pen. So this pen here, you can change from a straight pen, from an oblique pen into a straight pen simply by removing this flange piece right here. And that becomes a straight pen. So we created this feature so that there's an affordable option. So in terms of the scale of our products, definitely these ones are on the lower end. This one is our kind of like our entry level calligraphy pen, and it comes packaged in this plastic piece right here. And these 3 pieces, very popular in our shop, especially for beginners. And last year, we were able to launch our calligraphy book. So this one is a very comprehensive book. It starts off with like how to write in calligraphy. It talks about like the tools that you need in order to get started, as well as some worksheets. So there's also worksheets included in this book. And then the projects. So lots of projects of all sorts. There's cards, there's wedding event type of calligraphy projects, as well as gift ideas, and also gift wrapping ideas. That way you can, make use of your newfound calligraphy skills and put them into practice. So this book doesn't come on its own in our shop, but you can bundle it with our mini starter kit. So I'll talk about that one later. So that one's also in the beginner realm of things. And this one, you can, if you're thinking of like, oh, maybe this would be great, in your shop, or if you're thinking about it, this one is available with our publisher, or you can get them from me in a signed book bundle. So I have some small selection of books in my shop that are signed, and then you bundle that with our mini calligraphy starter kit. So the mini calligraphy starter kit is our retail friendly version of the starter kit. It's pretty close with what you can see in the the bigger version of the starter kit, but the difference is that this one doesn't have any worksheets in it. So we've got the Sumi ink, a smaller bottle. This one's in a 1 ounce. It has our our very popular dual purpose pen, as well as our little cute brass nib holder. This one, container, it holds all the 2 nibs that we recommend using. It has the Nico G as well as the brow steno in there. And of course, you also have this cute brass keychain in there that you can use to of course it's tight today, but normally you would be putting it like this, and that way you can tote around your brass nib holder. And then after that, of course, this also got a little starter guide. So both the practice pads and the starter kit also have this little piece of content that includes like the information that you'd need in order to get started. So it has like the basics of calligraphy, like writing technique, but of course our online course has more comprehensive information on that, especially like troubleshooting. So that's our mini calligraphy starter kit. It's definitely a very good retail product because people come into the store looking for something that could look like a gift, and especially if they've got peers or friends or family that want to get into calligraphy, this is a really beautiful packaged item that they can give to their friends. And so the next line of products that I wanted to show you guys is my wax seals. So these are our new collection of wax seals. We had a previous collection if you've been following in my shop for a while, but these ones are our mid-century modern brass seals. So they're brass all around, and they come packaged typically just like this. So it has the wax seal as well as some sealing wax, and we have 2 main collections for this the wax seal. So this one is a letter version, so this one's letter U and this one's letter R, and they're about a 0.8 inch wax seal, so they're not that large. And these ones here are our botanical collection. So I want to say there's around 8 or 9 of these botanical designs, like lots of floral designs and some crests as well. And we also have our 2 colors for the sealing wax. So this one's the gold one and this one's the silver one. These both really create a lot of wax seals themselves. Like I've even had as many as 20. It really depends on the size of wax and how hot the wax is as you're going, so that there's not a lot of wastage. So these are very popular also in our shop, especially during the holidays where people like to send mail. It's a really cool way to dress up your envelopes, or if you're into your wedding invitations, you could definitely add that as a touch as well. And then these are a couple of supplies that we've just recently launched. So this one is the modern Inkwell and pen rest. It does come packaged really nicely in this luxury box right here. I'm just showing that to you. So typically it would be in the box list like this. And so what this is a modern inkwell. So I've found very, very few modern looking inkwells in the market, and I thought it would be good to create something that reflects my brand. And as you know, I love brass pieces. And so this one is a faux brass. We didn't do a real brass for this one because the brass does create a patina, and for circular items like this, it ends up creating a really big circle that doesn't look as great, and we also wanted something that was completely wipeable, especially with ink. So it has a laser engraving on the side right here. And then it also includes a frosted ink bottle that you can fill in, but it also fits a good amount of ink bottles. We've made sure that that's the case. And it's definitely intended for a modern calligrapher. But of course, if you find that, this is also helpful for you for your other things, like, brush lettering, for example, you could certainly do that. Your pen will sit on just like this. with your nib. That way it doesn't go all over your table, and it also just has a place for your pen to rest in it. So that's kind of how this Inkwell works, and this one is also available in our shop. Really excited about this particular piece. It took quite a bit of research in order to make it happen. And kind of had to create all sorts of interesting files. So you'd think that this design shouldn't be so complicated, but it was in order to make it come to life. And then of course now we've got our premium line of pens. So if you recall, I was just talking to you guys about our entry-level pen. So this is our entry-level pen, the wooden ones. And now these are our brass plus resin pens. So these ones come in 3 colors. We've got this one, which is the white quartz look. So it's got like that swirl frosted look to it. We've got this one, which is the rose quartz. So it's got like pink and a little bit of blue accents to it as well. So it's got that kind of hazy frosted look to it. And then we've got the black one, which has really cool like alcohol ink inspired swirls all around. And actually that was the inspiration for these pens. I wanted to keep them, like fresh and new and unique to our brand. And of course we added the brass tips to it to kind of align with the rest of the brass pieces in our collection. So these are oblique pens only. They can't be switched into straight pens, but you can adjust these in order to fit your particular nib that you use. So when you purchase these ones, they usually come in a box just like this. So in the box normally you would have also instructions on how to use them. So it would be packaged up just like this, and it'll have the instructions of like how to use the pen. And that way, just in case you have questions on like how to adjust the pen, things like that. We are considering coming up with a straight version of this pen, but it's still currently in the works. But yeah, I personally love using oblique pens. That's why we created an oblique pen. I've also had a lot of my left-handed students end up using an oblique pen that's intended for a right-handed student. So it's really got to do with preference at this stage. But yeah, so this is our, like, I would call them my luxury line of pens, like the more high-end pens, like ones that you would add to your collection, yet it's still like super comfortable. The shape of the pen, I actually made so many prototypes using clay and like tried to hold them to make sure that it's in that grip is like really solid. And we chose to use resin this time so that we could avoid the problem of the ink falling in and getting stuck in this portion, just because that's our problem with our wooden pens. And that's why we wanted to make sure that this was like the elevated version of that. And this kind of slant here as well also helps, this shape of it at least helps being stuck into the ink, because as you put them in there, the nib will kind of stick out this way, and that way it won't touch the pen as much, and that way you don't get ink all over your fingers. So that's kind of like the intention behind this particular set of supplies. And so that's a tour of my little calligraphy shop. I hope you guys had fun watching that. I would love to know if you have any particular calligraphy supply or tool that you'd like to see in my shop. I'm always trying to come up with new ideas. Researching product creation and packaging creation is one of my favorite things in running a calligraphy business. And write it in the comments below or send me a DM at Written Word Calligraphy. Thank you guys so much. Again, this is Carla from Written Word, and I'll see you guys next time.